Hi everyone, Vivek from Delhi Law Academy. In this video, we're going to look at assertion reasoning. Assertion reasoning questions haven't really appeared in 2014 law entrance exams, but that doesn't make them any less important. They're a favorite type of question with the examiners simply because not only do they test your logic, your reasoning skills, but they also test your knowledge in GK, science, current affairs, politics, constitution, you name it, you can make an assertion reasoning question on it. So how do we solve assertion reasoning questions? Let's take a look. Okay, basics first. So assertion reasoning questions are going to test your ability to go through an argument logically. Most of the questions are going to have the structure of two sentences. The first sentence is called the assertion, the second sentence is called the reason. Your job as the person giving the exam is 1. To see if the assertion is actually true, 2. To see if the reason is actually true, 3. To see if the reason is the correct explanation of the assertion. Right? You need to do all three, and based on your evaluation of all three, you need to choose among these choices. These choices are fairly standard, so it's your job to figure out if the answer is A, both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A, both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation of A true, R false, A false, R true, both are false. So this covers the entire gamut of choices that you could come up with, and it's your job to figure out where the truth lies among these 5. And like I said on the previous slide, assertion reasoning questions could test not only your knowledge of logic but also GK, current affairs, politics, sports, could be anything. Okay, so let's look at our first question. The assertion reads, most Himalayan rivers are perennial, and the reason R says they are fed by melting snow. So what does the word perennial mean? Perennial means something that goes on all through the year, as opposed to seasonal, which happens only during a specific season. Perennial means year round, all through the year. So the assertion is saying that most Himalayan rivers flow all through the year. And we know this is a fact. We know that this is true. So this is true. Now we look at the reason R. They are fed by melting snow. Again, this is true because Himalayan rivers, by definition, the water in them is primarily from melting snow from the Himalayas. So this is also true. Now the third thing we need to check is if reason is a correct explanation of A. And we see that that is also the case. Yes, most Himalayan rivers are perennial, and the fact is that they are fed by melting snow, and that is the reason why they are perennial. They're not dependent on the monsoons, they're not dependent on any other weather related phenomenon for their flow. So the answer would be, in this case, A, because both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Next question. India is a democratic country. India has its own constitution. So again, we have to test 3 things. First, is the assertion true? Yes, the assertion is true. Second, is the reason true? Yes, the reason is true. India is a democratic country. India does have its own constitution. Third, is the reason the correct explanation of the assertion? In this case, we see that the link between these two, that is a false. Because India is a democratic country, but it's not because of having its own constitution that it gets called a democracy. India is a democracy because we vote our political leaders to power, right? So it's not the fact that there's a constitution does not make India a democracy. So the answer in this case would be B. Both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. So the answer is B. So these were a couple of quick sample questions on assertion reasoning. Most questions follow along the same principle. All you need to do is evaluate very methodically, one by one. Is the assertion true? Is the reason true? If both are true, then is the reason the correct explanation of the assertion? If you figure out that the assertion is false, then immediately your choices are reduced. If you figure out the reason is false, again your choices are reduced. So do look at the choices, understand the pattern of the choices, and evaluate methodically. And these questions should be simple. That's all in this deck. Thank you.